Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. We are back for some player props and spreads in the NBA for Sunday, June 6th. Today, we're on a 12-5 run. Made a separate video with my picks and player props and spreads in the Mavericks versus Clippers Game 7. So go check out that video. It's linked down below at the end of the video. If you already watched that one, shout out to you. You are a real one. But we're talking about Hawks versus Sixers Game 1, where the Sixers find themselves as 3-point favorites, despite Joel Embiid not probably playing today. He is questionable, but I do not expect to see him given the injury. Now, if the Sixers do win this game, I do not expect to see him in Game 2. I would only see them force him back if they do happen to lose today. They do not want to go down 0-2, and they have an extra day off between Games 2 and 3. So wouldn't be surprised that. But subscribe if you are new. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers, only 90 subscribers away at this point. Click it, it's free, it helps us grow, and it helps the channel really just grow and impact more and more people. Become a COS All-Star if you haven't. They're on the screen right now, 84 and growing. Shout out to our newest Delonte Hall and D. Lloyd Jenkins Jr. Welcome aboard. Let's get into Game 1 though. Enough questions, we're getting into Game 1. And where are we starting? Like I said, you might want to wait until Joel Embiid is announced in or out. But I'm starting with Ben Simmons, and we're talking about him over 17.5 rebounds plus assists. If you don't have this line exactly, because normally only MGM or FanDuel has it, I would take his assist probably at 7.5, minus 155. He hit that line in 4 of 5 games against the Wizards, but we're taking R+A, rebounds plus assists today. And here's why. You can look at the 2 games this season where Simmons played the Hawks, and you could see he didn't really get close to it. He maybe had like 12 or 14. Granted, now you got to talk about it. Game number 1. Joel Embiid was active in both of those games. Do not expect him to be active today. And 2, they were both huge blowouts. The Sixers won by 20 and I think almost 30 or 40 points in both of those games. And he only saw 16 and 27 minutes. So if he's going to play 16 to 27 minutes, he's not going to cash this. But I do expect this to be a little bit of a closer game today. Today, with Embiid out, Simmons will start at the 5. That is what I do expect to see. I've seen the first basket lines, and I believe Matisse Thybulle will be elevated to the starting lineup. And that means that Simmons will likely be starting at the 5 like they were doing against the Washington Wizards over those last, I believe, the second half of Game 5 or Game 4, and then the full game of Game 5. And I think that will mean Simmons will likely be placed on Capela, and that will be abusive. Now, if you look at it, he'll just have to be camping out in the paint on defense, so he'll just be piling up the rebounds, just having to box out Capela during the minutes that he's in. But more importantly, Ben Simmons has played 4 career games against the Hawks without Joel Embiid. And here are his stat lines, but first, you got to put on your thinking cap. We're traveling back in time because they have not played. Ben Simmons has not played the Atlanta Hawks without Joel Embiid since April 2019. But let's talk about that last time they played. 16 rebounds and 8 assists. Then you look at the game before that, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. The game before that, 10 rebounds and 6 assists. He fouled out in that game. And the final game, I believe, all back in March 2018, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. So he's cashed in 3 of 4, and he had 16 because of foul trouble. So I can live with that. He should see big minutes again today, and that's why I'm taking his over. 17.5 rebounds, assists. I think he does it. This is going to be a faster-paced game than a lot of people might expect, and I think he gets close to that. I think his rebounds and assist lines are a little too low given that Embiid is out. So I'm locking in over 17.5 rebounds plus assists. Moving on to his teammate, and we're going to take the same exact prop. 12.5 rebounds and assists for Tobias Harris, minus 130. It's slightly juiced, but I don't really care. If you look at his R+As, if you don't have that, take his rebounds. That's the more confident one I'm in, given that Ben Simmons will likely be at the 5, meaning Tobias Harris is likely at the 4. But again, we assume that Embiid is out today, and if not, then you know what? We might have to just alter these bets or not even place them at all. You look at the last 3 games against the Wizards when, you saw Embiid out. He missed the second half of Game 4 and then the full game of Game 5. You saw Tobias Harris, 15 rebounds and assists, and then 18 rebounds plus assists. Game before that, with Embiid still there, 18 rebounds, assists. So he's cashes in the 3 straight. Now you look at the regular season, he split against the Hawks, cashing in one game and not cashing in the other. And like I said, both games very limited, very few minutes to be played as they were both blowouts. Like I said with Simmons above, I do think Simmons will be at the 5 and Tobias Harris will likely be at the 4 for most of today. And that means that he will likely be guarding John Collins or DeAndre Hunter, who normally camps out in the corner. Well, I like this play a lot, and I think Tobias Harris has a really good chance of hitting this over 12.5 rebounds plus assists. He could even do it with just rebounds as he has done in 2 of the past 3 games. I like it. I think he gets a couple assists, get his teammates involved. As we've seen the Hawks do, they like to take away the number 1 option like they did with Julius Randle. And I know Tobias Harris probably better than Julius Randle. Whatever. I'm not here to start that debate. But but I think they might try to take him away. And you saw Julius Randle get a ton of rebounds, ton of assists against the Hawks. He struggled with points. That's why I'm not including the points total in this game, but I think he's got a good chance to cash in this one. Moving on to an Atlanta Hawk, and I will do Mr. Clint Capela, under 26.5 PRAs, minus 106. Am I disrespected him? Maybe, but he's played the Sixers 3 times this year. He had 27 PRAs in one game, 17 in the other, and 24 PRAs in the other. So the only time he cashed this was on the hook. And like I said above, I do not think he plays a lot of minutes today. This is just an overall hypothetical hunch. I think Simmons will be at the 5, and they do not like that matchup. Like you saw with Simmons, he absolutely destroyed Rudy Gobert. If they try to put Clint Capela, even though you can sag off Ben Simmons, he can still score if you just sag off of him. He'll just go right at you. He's too fast, too quick, and he's too athletic to stop him like that. You got to put someone that's bigger, like a Tobias Harris, his teammate, on him. So you look at it, I think Simmons will play a lot of minutes, and sure, Clint Capela could absolutely feast in the couple minutes that Dwight Howard plays, but like I said, I don't think he plays a lot of minutes today. Basically, I feel like he's out of place in this couple games until Joel Embiid returns. And I could be totally wrong, but let's talk about his PRA line even against my New York Knicks. Here are his PRA numbers. Game 1, 22. Game 2, 16. Game 3, 27. Game 4, 27. And Game 5, 29. So, sure, he cashed it in 3 of 5 games, twice being on the hook, so barely cashing it. But you're talking about it. The Knicks played, this is a Knicks team that played Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson all 48 minutes. One of them was in for 48 minutes of the game in all 4 of those 5 games. The one game they didn't, I believe they only played 39. Wow, only 39 minutes. So I just don't think Clint Capela has what it takes. Sure, could he score a lot of points? Maybe against this small ball lineup. Yeah, but I think he's out of place. All we really have to do is box him out. They just do too well on defense for that Sixers team. I'm taking the under PRAs. Prove me wrong. Clint Capela under 26.5 PRAs. Moving on to another play, and there's a reason I kept this one last. Trae Young, under 25.5 points, minus 105. I know. Before you come in here, all right, I'm a Trae Young fan. Yeah, you can slander me in the comments below, but here's why. This line makes absolutely no sense. The line should be 27.5. I won't lie to you, and sometimes we exploit those lines, but today we have a hidden trick, a hidden card up our sleeve, and we'll get into that in a second. You look at Trae Young, last 7 games against the Sixers, he cashed this over in 6 of them. He hasn't even been particularly close. The one game he missed, he scored 25. So he missed on the hook, shot 7 for 20. So then you look at his success against my New York Knicks, he hit this in 4 or 5 games. So why is this line so low? Something seems off. Something seems off. This seems fishy. I'm going to start with number 1. We're starting about the Sixers defense. Like I said, with Embiid most likely out, Sixers will go small with Matisse Thybulle in the starting lineup. That's at least what I'm seeing. That's what I'm trending. And he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA. He's really good. He's really long. I mean, you saw him win, I believe, Defensive Player of the Year in college. He's been awesome. And not to mention, they got 4 of their 5 defenders, or their starting front court, or starting players are really good defensively. And then, I mean, besides maybe Seth Curry, but even he's not not really that bad. You talk about it, I think they can all make it tough on Trae Young today. But I hear the contrary. It's like, but Austin, you just said he's hit this in basically 7 straight games against the Sixers. Then why are you betting his under? And here's why. Now we're bringing out the special trick, the hidden card up our sleeve. Number 2, the odds boost. And if you don't want what an odds boost is, I'll put it on the screen. Boom. From FanDuel, Trae Young has been boosted 30+ points. And some books like FanDuel offer these out religiously. They're like yesterday. They had James Harden 25 points in a win for Brooklyn. Yeah, they injured him in 30 seconds. Luckily, they refunded a lot of people's bets, although that was very kind of them, as they normally do not. And like I said, here at Calling Our Shot, we fade odds boosts time and time again, and you can make a lot of money. Sure, they hand out some winners every now and then, but today, I think they're handing out a loser with 30+ points, and you're like, they're tipping their hand to you. It's like their way of tipping their hand. Like, this player, hey, you should bet on him. He's done really well. And then they just pull it right out from behind you. Trae Young, yeah, he scored 30+ points in 3 of 5 against the Knicks and 4 of 7 against Philly. This is a great bet to place. You should really put the max bet $50, and then we'll just scoop it on up. And that's where they get you. You see, then you'll see Trae clanking it up and just not interested, not getting any foul calls, and you're like, okay, what did they know? And I'm hoping that is the case tonight. Odds boost by law are not allowed to cash. Those are the rules. And well, if this one wants to cash, which maybe Trae Young goes over 25.5 points and stays under 30, then I'll live with those. All of this combined, I'm taking Trae Young's under 25.5 points, not with a lot of confidence because he's a free throw fiend and he could shoot 25 free throws tonight. But it's a contrarian pick, and I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Slander me in the comments below. I welcome it. I do have a second to tell Trae Young, the trash talking, it worked in New York. You know New York. It's the Knicks. You can trash talk the Knicks because the Knicks are trash, and there's no way around that. But I do have to warn him, if he tries trash talking in Philly to their fans, he might be in for a rude awakening as one of them comes running on the court trying to fight him. You know how passionate those Philadelphia fans are. All joking aside, my spread pick in this game, final pick of the day, I'm taking Sixers -3 at home. They're one of the best against the spread home teams. 24, 14, and 1. I believe the fourth best against the spread record in the NBA. I think they get it done today. You talk about a Hawks team, sure, they beat the New York Knicks, but like I said, New York Knicks stink. This is not the New York Knicks. This is the Philadelphia 76ers, a much better team. This is one of the better offensive teams in the NBA, and they can actually score points and knock down threes. Two things that the New York Knicks cannot do. And while I'm not the best at betting spreads, I'm not going to claim to be that. That's not my specialty. I love player props more than anything. I'm riding the home team, and I think they win and cover by at least a couple points today at home. Sixers just have more firepower, more weapons than a young, inexperienced Hawks team is ready for. I think the small ball lineup will surprise the Hawks, and I don't think they'll be ready for it. They're used to playing with Clint Capela at the 5, and then they won't have, I don't know. It's a hunch. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Maybe Embiid plays, so who knows? And everything goes out the window. But I'm riding with it. I like the Sixers -3 at home. I'm taking them, riding them with confidence. Let's recap all of my bets. Ben Simmons over 17.5 rebounds plus assists. Tobias Harris over 12.5 rebounds plus assists. Clint Capela under 26.5 PRAs. And then Trae Young under 25.5 points, and Sixers -3. Another 5 picks coming your way. Go check out my video on the Clippers versus Mavericks. I will link it right here. That is a banger, and we got another couple picks, maybe 5, I believe 4 coming your way, and I love those bets as well, as we've seen those teams play 6 times already, so we got a good feel of what to expect in the games. Like I said, we'll see how this game goes today. I'll be back for some more player props and spreads tomorrow. This has been Austin. Go out there and make some money for us. Peace.